Hey YouTube, I'm here again with a collection video, and today, long overdue, is my Snapper DVD collection, which is this great big wall of plastic in front of me. Is what we're going to go through. And there's quite a lot. But before we do that, a little bit of history. Now, I haven't looked into this that much, but those who don't know what a snapper case is, and this probably isn't the best way to do it because you've got the case, I think we'll come back. Right, that's a bit better. You can actually see the background now. I was having a black case on a black background. That didn't really work. So in the early days of DVD, there were, well, for me, there were 3 different types of cases. There may have been more, but we're just looking into the single disc movie releases. We have what is pretty much the standard these days, which is the Amaray case. Everybody who has DVDs seen these, I'm sure. The less popular was the Super Jewel case, and I haven't really looked into these yet. I do have a small collection of these, and I might do a video at some point, but these are pretty much a DVD sized counterpart to the CD Super Jewel case, which have much stronger hinges than a standard CD case, but all hard plastic like a CD case, and some inlay art inside these as well. And then we have what today's video is all about, is the snapper case, so called by the noise that they make and how they fit together. So these are literally just a card sleeve and a plastic body. This one in particular falls out. Basically, they come together, a couple of clips there, and this all just comes apart. So all these are pretty much identical, other than somewhere on them, it might be under the disc, no, it should be on the back, but somewhere on these there's a date stamp for when they were made. I don't know why they did that, but it's something that they did. It also makes these easy to, if these break, you can just replace them, which is why occasionally when I come across these really cheap, I'll buy them just for the extra cases, because I have had some in the past where the tabs broke. Of course, I missed popping that in there, which I always do with these. Sometimes they slide in, sometimes you have to take them apart again. There we go. So that is your basic snapper case. And as you saw a moment ago, I have quite a collection of these. Now, from what I've read on Wikipedia, and I don't know how much of this is correct, I know some of it isn't quite right from what I read, but these were originally developed by Time Warner Brothers, basically, as a CD case in the early 90s. Obviously they were a smaller CD size case. I've never actually seen one of these as a CD case. And then, according to Wikipedia, in 1994 they were producing them as DVD cases as well. Now, it's my understanding that DVDs weren't around until 1996, so maybe that's not quite right. But it says up until 2003 they were using these exclusively to Warner Brothers and subsidiaries of Warner Brothers. Now, this one is an Icon release, but it does have the Warner Brothers label on it. So I'm guessing, again, this is a subsidiary. Most of these are Warner Brothers. I think there's 1 or 2 HBO And there's another one as well, which for the life of me at this moment I can't remember, but I'm sure when we find them, see them. So, which is on enough. Excuse me. Let's go through these. So, starting with Ace Ventura Pet Detective. I'm not going to open every single one, but they all have, pretty much all have art on the inside. Quite a few of these, like a lot of early DVDs, were double-sided. This one isn't. They used to put a widescreen version on one side and a full-screen version on the other. Don't do that so much anymore with DVDs. Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. The Adventures of Pluto Nash. Oh my gosh. The Adventures of Pluto Nash, The Man on the Moon. The Animatrix. The Matrix. That one is out of order, but I put it there just so those two are together. Arthur. The Assassin. Ballistic. X vs. Sever. Batman Returns. Batman and Robin. They're the only two of the Batman movies I have. I did come across a box set of those. I think it was in a charity shop, although it seemed expensive. It was £8, wherever it was. I'm sure it was a charity shop. But there are a few box sets with snappers in them. I don't own any of them, but I do own some that the contents would have been in a box set, or a version of those that would have been in a box set. I think some of the Sopranos, in fact, I don't think I know some of the Sopranos came as box sets with snapper cases. I don't know if they did them all, and the same with Friends. Most, if not all, of Friends, and I haven't got those here. I'm going to have to dig those out, because I've got a few Friends, but not all of them. Anyway, moving on. Battlefield Earth. Ben-Hur. Again, this is one with a nice fallout inside. This is a double-sided disc, but only because one half of the film is on one side and the other half is on the other. It's a long film. Although if it was a dual layer disc, I'm pretty sure it would have all fitted on one side. Best in Show. Blazing Saddles. Bless the Child. Bloodwork. The Bodyguard. A Bronx Tale. Cats and Dogs. City by the Sea. And a bunch of Clint Eastwood movies, and I've put these all together in the Seas because they're the Clint Eastwood collection. And it's not a full collection, but we have Absolute Power. Perfect World. Dirty Harry. Magnum Force. The Enforcer. There are still two other Dirty Harry movies that I need to get. which I don't have as yet, and they are, I went back for a moment there, Sudden Impact and the Deadpool. Sudden Impact I know is definitely available in that collection, but I've yet to even see, not that I've looked, whether the Deadpool was released or not in this collection. I'm sure it must have been. Then we've got Pale Rider, Demolition Man, Collateral Damage, Conspiracy Theory, Contact, Dangerous Liaisons, Deep Blue Sea, Disclosure, Divine Secrets of the Ya-Ya Sisterhood, Dog Day Afternoon, love that film, New Line Platinum Series, Dungeons and Dragons, so I'm guessing this is New Line. That's very difficult to read. I put two colours that are so similar. It's almost impossible, but there's definitely no Warner Brothers on this one. You got there the New Line logo, I believe. So I'm assuming this must have some connections to Warner Brothers. Again, they do some nice artwork in some of these. I've not seen this film. Yes, I have. Sorry, it's the second one I haven't seen. It's just a while since I've seen this one. Right. I think the one and only one I have in a red case. Eight-legged Freaks. I come across these every so often. I maybe should pick them up just for the cases. I'm sure there's a few others in here that would look nice in a red case. Eraser. Extreme Measures. Falling Down, absolute awesome film. Final Analysis. Get Carter, the original. Get Carter, the remake. Ghost Ship. Gia. GG. Just realised we went past that one without noticing that it's an HBO. I think I have a couple of HBOs. Again, there's no apparent mention of Warner Brothers on the back of this one, but I assumed it must have some Warner Brothers connection. Gorillas in the Mist. Gossip. I think this is probably one of the snapper cases I come across more frequently than any other, and almost always in horrible condition. This one is in pretty good condition, thankfully. Gothica. Green Mile. parts in Atlantis. It's region 1. Heat. Hooper, another region 1. An interview with a vampire. And the second interview with a vampire. This is the first and only one of these I've ever seen in a slipcover. And it's a different release. I mean, I imagine everything about it is identical. I mean, you can see there that the ratings are in a different spot on the cover. I don't know if there's any difference to the disc, but they do have different barcodes. Actually, there is a slight difference to the back as well. Kevin and Perry Go Large. Last Boy Scout. And we've got region 1 releases of Lethal Weapon, Lethal Weapon 2, Lethal Weapon 3, and Lethal Weapon 4. Those I got all as part of a 4 for £1 or a 5 for £1 deal, but they were all included in a deal for £1. But also at a different time, I've got the UK releases and the director's cuts of the original Lethal Weapon with a much shinier cover. Again, director's cut, Lethal Weapon 2. And director's cut, Lethal Weapon 3. This is the only one. I don't know whether there was ever a director's cut of this released. I've never ever seen one. And I think this is probably identical. It's just out of frame there, the region 1, other than the fact that the runtime will be slightly different due to the difference between PAL and NTSC. But other than that, I think these two are probably the same cut. But I wasn't going to not have all 4 movies in one collection and not the other, so I got them. Again, these were part of either a 4 for £1 or a 5 for £1 deal, so they were still really cheap. Little Shop of Horrors, the original Lord of the Rings, Mad Max, Mad Max 2, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, Mr. Majestic, very underrated movie in my opinion. It's really, really good. The very awesome Mars Attacks, Maverick, Memphis Belle, Mickey Blue Eyes, another one that I come across quite often, Miss Congeniality, Mr. Johnson. Now this is a bit of an anomaly because I don't know anything about where this comes from other than it's an American release. There is a bit of a logo on the spine there, but it's way too small for me to focus in on. Maybe the camera will pick it up better. But it doesn't seem to match any of the other. There we go, slightly bigger on there. Stimulus, is that what that says? You've just got reflection of the lights. Anyway, yeah, I don't really know anything about this release. But it's not an actual Warner Brothers release, but again, I assume it must have something to do with Warner Brothers for them to release it in that case. Right, moving on. Murder at 1600. Wesley Snipes. It's a long time since I've seen that one. Murder by Numbers. National Lampoon's Vacation. Natural Born Killers. And the original Ocean's 11. And we've got the remake of Ocean's 11. Now my original copy of this, because I bought it when it very first came out, but not this one. As you can see on there, it has a run time of 112 minutes. The original copy I bought had a run time, I think, of 181 minutes, according to the case. I didn't know any difference. Now I do recall that this film, although not being 3 hours long, was still quite a long film. Yes, it's over 2 hours. It's not quite as long as actually as I thought it was. So when I bought this, I put it on, started watching it, and when it got to like not even, well, maybe past an hour and a half, it seemed to be winding down. Now there is a whole sequence at the end of this film that isn't in this film, I don't believe, where they're trying to get the money out of Vegas. I thought, oh, maybe they're going to spend more time on that section of the story in this film. But then it kind of tailed off and ended less than 2 hours in, and I was very confused because the DVD that I bought said 181 minutes. I've yet to find another copy of that, at least in a snapper case. I imagine by the time they re-released this in a standard case, that will have been fixed. I mean, they've already fixed it on a release. It must be a second pressing. But I'm going to look out for another one of them, because I want to know that I'm not actually imagining that. I know that I'm not imagining that. I remember distinctly watching the film and being really disappointed. Not in the film; it was a great film. The fact that it wasn't the 3 hours that I was expecting, it just finished not abruptly, but sooner than I expected. Okay, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Ordinary Decent Criminal. Passenger 57, some more Wesley Snipes. Pay It Forward. Payback. The Pelican Brief. This is another weird one. Again, it's a double-sided disc, but not for widescreen and full screen, but because half the movie's on one side and the other half is on the other. And it's not a particularly long film. I mean, it's over 2 hours, but not much over 2 hours. And again, if it had been a dual layer disc, maybe there weren't any dual layer discs at this point, I don't know. It would have easily fitted on one side. The Perfect Storm. Police Academy. Practical Magic. Proof of Life. The Red Planet. The Right Stuff. Risky Business. Romeo Must Die. Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders. Scooby-Doo meets the Harlem Globetrotters. Again, I think this is another Region 1. The live action Scooby-Doo movie. Shaft. This was another another title that's part of a box set. It comes with Shaft's Big Score, and I think the third one's Shaft in Africa, which I don't own as yet. And I've only ever seen the box set for sale on eBay. I've never seen it out in the wild, nor have I seen Shaft in Africa out in the wild. But I've seen pictures on eBay, so I know that it exists as a snapper. Another Region 1, Sharky's Machine. Showtime. Soldier. South Park, Bigger, Longer and Uncut. Space Cowboys. Sphere. Swordfish. The Time Machine. Three Kings. Training Day. True Crime. 2 Weeks Notice. Under Siege 2. V, the original miniseries. There is another V set. Is it V, The Final Conflict? Something like that, which I own, but it's 2-disc set. It's actually 3 discs technically. It's not. It's one normal disc and one double-sided disc, but it could be a 3-disc set. They may have at some point, I don't know. But the point being, these only ever hold a single disc. Actually, this is a double-sided one as well by the looks of it. So I'm pretty sure that set was never released in a snapper, which is sad, because it would have been nice to have them on the shelf next to each other. Waiting for Guffman. I remember picking this up. I think it was in British Art Foundation as part of a 3 for £1 deal. I haven't watched it as yet, and I still don't really know that much about it. And then finally, Wild Wild West. So there we go. Not actually my entire snapper collection. Because I've forgotten some. I mentioned them earlier and then totally forgot about them again. And as like magic, I have a few more. Like I mentioned before, I have some friends' DVDs. I know for sure there's 3 missing, because I definitely had the complete first series as snapper editions, and I can't find them anywhere, so there is a small chance I've shoved them in a charity bag and got rid of them. Hopefully that hasn't happened, but anyway, we've got Friends Series 2, episodes 1 to 8. Series 2, episodes 9 to 16. And Series 2, episodes 17 to 24. Series 3, episodes 1 to 8. Series 3, episodes 9 to 16. And then a big jump, Series 6, 1 to 8. Series 6, 9 to 16. Series 7, episodes 1 to 4. Series 8, episodes 5 to 8. Series 8, episodes 17 to 20. Series 9, episodes 1 to 4. 5 to 8. 9 to 12. And 13 to 16. Now I do have a bunch of others in standard Amaray cases. Now the fact that I've got almost all the way up to Series 9 suggests that maybe the entire run is available. Again, I don't think I've seen any Series 10 discs in snapper cases, but I haven't been looking that hard for friends. I do occasionally come across some, and I came across some yesterday when I was out, but because I have no idea, although now I can take a note, I have no idea of which ones I have in these cases and which ones I have in Amaray cases. I didn't buy any of them, but now I've got them here and in front of me, and I can actually take a snap of them. I'll know when I'm out next time. Right, so that is now my entire, well, apart from the doubles. Yeah, what the heck, let's go through the doubles as well. So, in no particular order, these ones I've just bought cheap for, I mean, chances are that anyone's going to want to trade any of these is negligible. These really just bought for spare cases because they were that cheap. So we've got another Ballistic X versus Sever, Ocean's 11, the original, Kevin and Perry, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, The Last Boy Scout, Falling Down, and Romeo Must Die. And so should this video. My goodness, it's been a long video. It's been cut down. I've cut quite a few times, although you probably won't notice some of them, hopefully, and when I put it all back together. But that's this video done, finally. I may well do these ones next. There isn't that many. I think I've got maybe 20. Nowhere near as many as these. But for now, thanks once again for watching, and I will catch you next time. Ta-ra.